Now it's fading into thin air. Every word feels like a stone. Arguments cut to the bone. Holding time, we find our way. Now it feels like we're in disarray. Do I stay or do I go? To make it better, I don't know. Every day's a new start, but we're drifting worlds apart. Once a spark, now it's gone cold. Promises that have grown old. I'm holding on to what we've known, but we can't seem to find our home. Caught between the night and dawn, all our love seems to be gone. Should I fight or let it go? In the end, will we ever know? Do I stay or do I go? To make it better, I don't know. Every day
Brainiacs.
will start, but we're drifting worlds apart.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Tonight is going to be an interesting night, brains. We're calling this Manic Monday. It is Monday, by the way. It is September the 16th. Man, oh man, oh man. Where is this year gone? It was just January. It was just January. Nevertheless, we're calling this broadcast Project Springfield. Where did my quiet little community go? Let me tell you what, man, this is going to be an interesting one because I've got friends that are on the outskirts of Springfield Township, or Springfield. And by the way, I don't want you guys to get Springfield, Ohio. I don't want you to get that, Springfield Township, confused with Springfield, Ohio. Nevertheless, we're going to have fun. We're going to dive deep. We're going to get very, very educational. Brainiacs, share this broadcast, share this podcast, as well as ABCs. Sit back. You might learn something. I'm not kidding.
We're living in a world of smoke and mirrors, lost inside the twisted game. But deep within we feel the shivers of a truth they cannot tame. Neon lights and coded lies try to keep us hypnotized, but the field begins to tear, and we're breaking out of their snare. Reality is spinning, the truth is descending. We're tearing through the great disguise, seeing past the grand delusion, breaking free from all their lies. Welcome to the matrix of minds. We see through the shadows, leave the lies behind, breaking the fabric of reality's hold. We're the matrix minds, brave and bold. In the digital storm we stand tall, unveiling secrets they can't hide. The power crumbles, we watch it fall as we tear through their divide. Electric whispers in the night try to keep us from the light, but our spirits won't be chained through the chaos we've reclaimed. Reality is bending, the truth is descending. We're tearing through the great disguise, seeing past the grand delusion, breaking free from all their lies. Welcome to the matrix of minds. We see through the shadows, leave the lies
Oh,
behind.
Brainiacs, let's go on over to the Department of Defense, right? Yeah, where's that at? Right there they are. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Yeah.
We're the warriors of the digital age, writing our own story, turning the page. Through the circuits we find our way. In the matrix we'll seize the day. Reality is bending, the truth is descending. We're tearing through the great disguise, seeing past the grand delusion, breaking free from all their lies. Welcome to the left behind, breaking the fabric of reality's home. We're the matrix minds, brave and bold. Welcome to the matrix of minds. Together we rise, we're the ones they'll find. In this digital realm, we're taking a stand. We're the matrix minds, hand in hand.
Yeah, man. Oh, whoa. And of course I didn't get that screen right. I knew I'd screw that one up. Damn it, boy. Used to have the Brainiacs right there. Right there. Why? Why don't I have them there? Oh, is it because I didn't name the window? And you guys are about to get some technical advice from a techie that screwed up already. Look at that shit. There you are. Yeah. All right. So, where do we start? Probably at the beginning, right? So what we're going to do, we are going to start at the beginning. I want to shout out to a friend of mine that is a word, I can say she makes word salads out of everything that I post. I'm not going to say her name because she runs under a fictitious name for her protection. However, I will say because of her, I threw on my shirt here. It says building the future. I hope that with what I'm going to say and with what we're going to share tonight, the good people of Springfield really see and have a better understanding of what is actually taking place. Okay? And I say that with all due respect to them, probably because they don't know. Let me first start out with a screen that I made today. Okay, a screen that I made today that really touches home to myself, as well as many of you listeners, you viewers. I'm going to go over this screen, and I want you to really think about what you're looking at. Okay? And again, this does not matter. It does not matter your sector of life. It does not matter whether you're just a citizen like myself, whether you are a military man or woman, a frontline worker, whatever, ABC, it does not matter. None of that shit matters at this point. Do you realize this? So looking at an Indian standing in front of his tribe, he's saying, ask my people about freedom because you're now on our land. Think about what that statement is. Because this land that we're on was taken from our people, taken from our ancestors long ago. On top of that, I want to go over and I want to show you something that you probably you realized but never seen. This is not new. Every single thing that we are going to share with you tonight, okay, is not new. I kind of give you a snippet in the beginning of the broadcast, and that would be, this is on the wall of Abu Simbel in Egypt. This is just south down the Nile. Abu Simbel is right down the river of the Nile. However, you're looking at the enslaved people. That's what you're looking at. And on top of that, go over here, share a screen with you. Again, you guys might say this doesn't mean this is all just a hill of beans. But let me share with you symbology. Symbology is everything. No matter who you are, these people, I'm talking puppet masters. I'm not talking about the normal authority people, the police and the FBI and the CIA. I'm not talking about them. Those people will literally clearly tell you, well, I was just doing my job. Let me share something with you. We get it. I get it. You're just doing your job. I definitely understand. Okay? However, what I want to share with you is what I said earlier. I said prior in a chat on Mr. Mike Jenkins. Shout out to Mike Jenkins, by the way. You're doing a phenomenal job at trying to keep the trolls out of Springfield's, Springfield Crime Watch #1, blah blah, on Facebook. You're doing a great job, Mike. You really are. And I let Mike know primarily because of this broadcast, as well as me being around computers since of the age of 14. I'm now 48. That's quite a long time to be fidgeting with these and this. So I want to say something in regards to Mike's group. You guys, it's really, really becoming very clear that there are people like literally shoving propaganda, shoving fake news, shoving all of these things that even our authority cannot nail down and prove. Okay, I told Mike I would say what he wanted me to say on his behalf, and I will. Listen, the things coming out of Springfield, Ohio, if our good men and women of that department cannot prove these things, don't believe them. Okay? Please, I'm serious. Don't believe them. It is bullshit. It is absolute feeding the proverbial fire. That is what it's doing. We are doing nothing but harm to many people in Springfield, Ohio. Okay? And I want to share with you again the enslavement. You've seen the enslavement of the Indians. My land. I get it, right? We're Americans. This is our land. Get out to the Haitians. But hopefully, me and Larry Hawkins and I are going to go dive really, really deep into what has actually transpired to get them where they're at now. And in the situation they're in. And again, we can't point the fingers at the police. We can't point the fingers at the ABCs. Or at least those that don't know. Again, there are those that are just as damn well confused as the people of Springfield. They don't know what the hell is going on. But let me tell you, there are those that absolutely know. They're there because they are trafficked there. Let me say the word again. They are human trafficked there. But by reason. Okay? Now, we all know, if you go back to, by the way, the switchboard is absolutely open. It is up and it is up and it is running. And so, as far as I know, it works. Okay, the broadcast numbers are in the description of the broadcast chat. It's in the description of the show. Okay? And I want to make this very clear. We are not going to bash anybody. I'm not going to call out names. I'm not going to do anything but other than tell you that it's going to be all right as long as you come together and support one another. That right there is key right now. You guys have got to support one another by, if anything, Springfield and all of you, every single one of you, me included, fact check everything. You yourselves fact check the fact checks coming. Fact check everything. Don't just post some random dead ass cat. I seen a post today in Mike's chat, and I'm like, man, I'm just gonna let it go. Because here's the thing. You can't, someone that just like randomly runs up and says, oh, look at this cat in a bag. I found a cat in a bag. I ain't ever eating Chinese food again. Look, that could have been anywhere. Anywhere. Could not have not necessarily been just Springfield. These people did not ask to be publicized. Okay? The way that MSM is absolutely gaslighting the shit out of them. And they're pushing the propaganda. Okay? And especially whenever you see things like people post something in someone's in the group chat there on social media of a damn cat dead in a bag, saying, well, we're not ever eating Chinese food again, blah, 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 right? And then say it, and literally post it in Springfield, in that group. Shame on you. Shame on you for doing that. Number one, that is gaslighting the people of Springfield. Number two, that is pushing bullshit. That is literally pushing propaganda. Don't be part of the problem. Be the solution. Be the solution. Now, again, that kind of goes with me saying, and I'll follow up on this. And this is straight. No, oh man, this is straight to literally the authority in Springfield. So please, don't think I'm against you. Okay, I absolutely this broadcast. Honestly, this broadcast is probably one of. Look it right here. Is one of the ones right here that back you. We back you. I do believe in you. I believe that you are going to discern every single aspect of every single thing that you see, you hear, and that you smell, and you take it inside of your mind, okay? And you discern it. Don't just come after me for like trying to like help you, because that's what I'm doing. It's what all of us are trying to do, is trying to wake up those that are not awake. And those that are awake, you already know. I understand that you are gaslit as well, and there is not really a damn thing that you can do about it. I've got a good friend right now. I'm telling you, many of these viewers right here have heard this story. I have got a good friend that is in an agency, is in them departments that blew the whistle. He was fired. Well, he was let go for 2 weeks. 2 weeks with pay. Don't be doing that. Don't be starting this kind of shit. Because it was him against them. Don't think we get it? I get it. I do, I get it. Who can you trust right now? Who, if you are in a police uniform, even if you are in an ABC or a military-based uniform, who can you trust? Because these things, I'm going to even say, are coming down that ladder way far, probably far above your superior. They're just doing their job too. I get that. I understand that too. But again, what you guys, we got to go back to military tactic. We've got to go back to the art of war. We've got to go back and see and understand what's being presented to us here in this matrix of things. Okay? They are going to do this to try to get you guys, Springfield, to do that. They're going to move people from here because of some reason, and then, well, it's your problem. You fucking deal with it. Wait. These people, again, I'm going to defend the Haitian people at the moment. I'm going to. I absolutely am. And here's why. They did not choose to be there. They did not want to be in your land or our land. They want their property back. They want Haiti back. Okay? I gotta go back to my image. This is our land. However, that image right there was deceptive. I made that image to get you to think. Because it shifted your consciousness. It shifted your heart. Imagine standing there as a Haitian, okay, saying, "This is my land. You're on my land." And then next thing you know, your people are whisked away by the Haitian government, backed by an unforeseen, untold power entity, money, and whisked away off of their own property, off of their own land. So you may have thought for a second that I'm primarily defending my own natives, which I was doing that too. However, I did that on the behalf of the Haitian people. We understand as a United States people what our ancestors went through, what the Indians went through. The Trail of Tears, think about that. The Last of the Mohicans, think about that. And again, I'm not pointing fingers at the ABCs. I'm not pointing fingers at the authority. Because this is a lot goddamn bigger than you. Did you hear me? I'll tell you, this is bigger than you. It's going to take you waking up. It's going to take you saying, holy shit, this kid's right. This kid's right. Man, don't say it. Don't speak it. Think it. Use your brain, man. Use this lump of matter that God gave you between your two ears and think about what's going on. These people don't want to be there. I assure you, they don't want to be there just as much as the people of Springfield town or Springfield, Ohio, don't really want them there. They're there for a reason, and they're fulfilling that reason. The art of war is divide and conquer. Play the black community against the white community. Play the gay against the homophobic. That's what they're doing. Again, this is bigger than any ABC. This is bigger than any agency. This is bigger than any one of us. This is where we as a people need to come together and we need to figure this shit out. Because again, going back to what I was saying about these bomb threats and all of this bullshit. Listen to me. All of you in the department, all of you that I hope are listening. This phone, every single aspect. Well, here's the thing, and I know you know what this is called, a burner phone, right? It's a burner phone. We're just gonna make a random bomb threat on a phone that we bought at the dollar store somewhere down on Main Street in Springfield, and well, check this out. This is how this works. They're gonna make a bomb threat, right? There's this burner phone. They're bought and paid for by some ABC agency, which was told, I'll do this or else. Somebody might have some dirt on that somebody else. They're forcing this agent to do this. Or maybe that agent's just outright a prick. He knows what he's doing. Or maybe he doesn't. We don't know. But I'm telling you right now, all of you good people in Springfield, these things can be tracked. They can be traced. And I'm telling you, even if it comes down to Springfield Police Department, even if it comes down to you calling the Fed and kicking their ass out and saying, it is time right now to evaluate what we are seeing, what we are dealing with. We are going to play CSI Miami. I'm telling you, every single aspect. Get access to the network. Get access to the network. Because I'm telling you, every single aspect of everything that I'm saying is absolutely true. It is trackable. It's traceable. They can track what you have done yesterday by your shadow. By your shadow. What? Yes. Sit back, Hofus. Take that in for a minute. Your shadow is energy. Okay? It literally puts down a biometric resonance, a frequency within the plane of existence that you may not even know about. But they do. But they do. These people do. Those that run this motherfucker right here, they know everything about this. They know everything about this. So this track and trace, human trafficking, missing kids, there should be no missing kids. Every single bomb threat, every single missing person, every trafficked person, every dollar has an origin. And every bit of it, every fucking bit of it can be tracked. Don't let them bullshit you. You get access to that network. You gain your ground back. I'm telling you, as with every fiber in me, what I'm telling you is true. What I'm telling you is absolute true. And I don't know how much more clearer I can be other than to like maybe start to try sharing and showing things with you, but you definitely need to understand that everything that we're telling you is I'm telling you is correct. It's real. This is absolutely real. Let's take this call right real quick. I have area code 219. I do believe this is my door kicker, Mr. Larry
Recording
Hawkins.
started.
What's up, Mr. Hawkins?
Hi, everybody.
He says hi, everybody. Sorry, man.
Get your popcorn, boys and girls.
Well, I'm trying to convey the best I know how with me being holding a security clearance of 0. I have, you know what I'm saying? I have no security clearance other than, well, I'm just a civilian that knows a lot of shit. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
I've had a couple of security clearances. By the way,
I get it.
if anybody wants to get me above federal security clearances, as I've said every time I've talked to you guys, I'll solve all your problems over the weekend. But I digress. So, I was letting you do your intro thingy. Doing a fine job, sir.
Well,
I
thank
just
you.
didn't know when you'd want me to hop in.
Well, you can hop in at any time. All I'm trying to say is we as a people need account. This is the I'm trying to talk to them, the authority figures that can literally do something about this. The people, what can we do other than stand back, watch, and point fingers and hope that the police get it right and hope that, right? You see what I'm saying? This isn't up to me. This isn't up to the people of Springfield. This is up to those that can absolutely, I guess, come down on the law itself. It's going to take them waking up to what we're saying is true. This is real. This is absolutely real.
It's so much bigger.
So much bigger
than that, though.
Oh yeah.
It is just to reference our conversation until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It is bafflingly bigger the way that this all actually ties together. The whole Springfield thing is like a speck of dust.
Oh yes.
In the wind. I'm not sure where all you went.
Stop.
Tried bringing in.
Hey, stop. Hang on, because I got a guy in the chat right now that said it's part of their culture to kill animals. It is for luck. For luck, Peter. Let me put you in check for a minute, bro. I have no idea who you are, but number two, I want to let you know that it's not just for luck. Okay. It's because that's probably the only thing they got to fucking eat. On their in their culture, in their world, that is literally the only thing that they've got to eat. It's their norm, okay? It is indeed their culture. Just like the China, the wet market, they sell all kinds of animals, dogs, cats, bats, but you name it. Okay, yes, it's also very used for dark magic. Yes, I do believe this. I agree with this, but. Not even close if they are receiving food stamps. Peter, that's here, bro. That's here. None of this shit can be proven, though. That is the thing. Okay? Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm off my rant.
Do your thing, man. It's
no, I'm just saying. Bullshit here, bro.
Yeah, there's no bullshit filter in our conversation. But it was okay when Soros and Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum and Greta Thunberg tells you you'll eat bugs and own nothing and like it. Have a cockroach milkshake. It's you'll love it. That's okay. But I mean, it's people around the world eat weird stuff. Spoiler alert. So I agree that a lot of people. I mean, look at special forces. Green Berets. It's part of our training to live off of whatever, wherever. Nobody bats an eye when a Green Beret eats a cobra. Well, maybe a couple people, but you get the idea.
I like this, dude. Let's agree to disagree. I absolutely, because again, what?
They're not making you eat a cat's ass.
No,
it's their choice. It's pursuit of happiness, if you will. They're making do with whatever. Have you all ever been to the deep Appalachia?
See, this
you ever seen people that are thoroughly poor? You ever seen people that live on the streets? Have you ever eaten out of a garbage can because you had to? I've been all those things. So I just see things differently, I guess. So, I mean, unless someone is doing it out of spite, walking on someone's door and wringing their animal's neck and sucking its blood just to piss somebody off is an entirely different conversation than I need something to eat or I will die. That goes back to the whole conversation of the thing with the living man. The whole story of the gentleman, Ernie, I think his name is.
Ernie Ball, yeah.
You have the right to feed yourself. Yeah. You have the right to self-preservation and self-defense by whatever means. You don't need a magic piece of paper or permission to put food in your belly. But this whole part of the conversation is minute and is just the arguing point of arguing over what color somebody's hair is, and is really not necessary other than the point of proving the point of how psyops and covert operations and the Mockingbird media baits us against each other as a distraction tactic. It's a psyop and covert ops and counterterrorism tactics that saturates the planet to get us to make fun of each other, and Stockholm Syndrome and gaslighting tactics.
Right.
With narcissistic backing to get us to go after each other while they slide their hand up your ass while you're arguing with the person next to you about what color their shoes are or something stupid. Now, to backtrack a little bit, speaking of what started a lot of our conversation last night, is you and I started a little bit of a chit-chat, which we do all the time, but it started with looking up a couple of Google searches because we got curious about what we could find. And I don't know if you want to pull that up or do the search yourself, but let me think back of what that search was. One was covert ops in Springfield, Ohio, I think was one of them.
First of all,
I think another one was gun manufacturing in Springfield, Ohio. And just the search bar, if you scroll down through a few different pages of that, you'll see a whole lot of lineages to that. And what you'll find out is Springfield, Ohio is actually a spy hub. It is a covert ops spy hub that is used as a manipulation platform. With a lot of these people, regardless of where they're from, a lot of these people that are coming up from the, say, southern border or wherever are coming up here because of the psychological warfare and genocide platforms that killed off all of their people or destroyed their territories or people that ran them out of their homes.
Exactly.
And then told them they could come here and have sanctuary in the United States because all this wahoo that's told about, if anything, come join us. We'll take care of you. We'll get. Realistically, a lot of these people go directly to military posts. I don't care what anybody tells me. There's hundreds of thousands of these people that are coming across the border, and they go directly to military posts. I don't care what anybody says. It's what happens. But what happens to them after that, I don't know, because I don't have that sort of know-how. But there are people that do. So what happens with a lot of this is there is hundreds of thousands of covert operative agents, and they have to do something because they're paid. Kind of like social agitators and, what do you call them? crisis actors and things like that are paid by, let's just say, political kickback platforms, kind of like Black Lives Matters money. We talked about that. There was billions and billions of dollars that went to the Black Lives Matter platform. The leaders of those people got caught embezzling several millions of dollars that they pocketed for themselves. And if you look up where all that money went, take a wild guess. Spoiler alert, I'll tell you. Bernie Sanders,
All right.
Joe Biden, old pedo Joe, they were the main two, and of course they went to the private prisons and private police unions that were paying the social agitators to go around and break windows and hit a motherfucker with a frying pan.
Yes, Miss
what are they
Rose,
called?
they're being used.
Yeah, these people, they're paying social agitators and crisis actors $20 to $50 or more an hour to go to rallies and crack a motherfucker in the face with a frying pan. You know? So,
Imagine that. Don't say it's not so, Larry.
It's so. But
Miss
anyway,
Miss Rose got the
who-
things, dude. See, I told you these guys are awake. They're pretty awake. Miss Rose says, "Shout out to they're being used too." Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely are.
Kind of like how and why was the Taliban created?
David Nash says
We
the
talked
Clinton
about Bin Laden
Foundation.
the other day.
The Clinton Foundation was made to help Haiti, but the Clintons got rich off of it. Oh, bro, let me tell you what. This little comment,
We're about to get into that.
this
hole.
little comment that you dropped right there is a fucking rabbit hole so deep. I'm telling you right now, even the ABC's heads will spin.
Mm-hmm.
Because this right there, just that
I
little.
was just about to get to that.
Oh yeah, man. And here's
Yeah.
how here's. Hi Larry,
ahead.
how you doing tonight? Let's do some digging on Springfield tonight. What is this? Good idea. Yeah, well then we start talking about Haiti and all these things. And hey Larry, what'd you say about invasion of Haiti? What? Who was that? So I start looking up. What was it? It could. Oh my God, what was his name? The president.
You mean the Woodrow Wilson?
That's it. Oh, dare I say that?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh,
We went back to
God,
Woodrow
dude.
Wilson.
Bro.
How all the presidents are related to each other. Hillary and Trump are distant cousins, so they're actually family with each other. We talked about how Jeffrey Epstein not only assisted Ghislaine Maxwell with creating the Terramar project, which evolved to the Amber Alert systems that tracks all of your kids. Now think about this, United States. There's about 800,000 documented children that go missing every year. How many Amber Alert texts do you get every year? Don't have to answer. Just think about it.
Right.
So the Amber Alert system, the Terramar project, which is where the politicians running the trafficking networks consider themselves under maritime law, so they don't have to follow any regulations. We tied Haiti into the Caribbean islands, which of course y'all can remember the Pirates of the Caribbean. They had the submarines and Terramar projects that goes under the Caribbean part of Disney. That goes into the 12 Polk counties of the United States, which ties to the MENA connection, the Iran-Contra that we told you all about. By the way, the MENA connection and Iran-Contra ties back to John Kerry, George Bush, the Clintons, of course. There's Vince Foster out of D.C., let's not forget him. The Bush family, the relatives of Bush family, going all the way back to the ties of England. And, of course, let's just throw in there the three cities that rule the world. The Vatican, which is actually Rome.
Oh.
Washington, D.C., which isn't even part of the United States.
The
and
crown.
London.
Yeah. Can't leave out the crown. I got a screen for that one too, bro. I've got screens to all of these tied things. Again, this is what I'm saying. This goes above and beyond the ABCs. This goes above and beyond all of that. Shout out to James Roundtree, who's got some good questions here, bro. Let me say something real quick. James says, how about this? Who ordered these 20,000 Haitians for Ohio? And I'm like, that's the $1 million question right there. But we're learning.
80,000 Karanians the next 10 next town over me has 80,000 Ukrainians in it.
All right. There you go. So he's like,
that's nothing. Nothing really.
Did they walk from Haiti, and who flew them in, and why? All of these good questions. I guarantee you, there's some ABCs walking around somewhere that are in the know, that they are in the know, and then there are those that are just, I'm just doing my job, sir. They don't need to know. This is the proverbial, well, what the left hand's doing, the right hand has no idea, and nor does it need to know. The left leg doesn't need to know what the right leg's doing to move the body. You see, this is compartmentalization.
I gotta put it on the table here as a consideration of, unless somebody's doing something illegal or wrong or violating someone else, who gives a shit?
Right.
That's like, oh my goodness, there's a group of Mexicans in CC's. Oh my goodness, there's 15 black people standing on the street corner hanging out talking. Who gives a shit?
Right.
That's that baiting shit that the psyops use to get us to paint some sort of impression on somebody that is exactly what the psyops do. When I went to Qatar, and me and 40, 50 other, air quotes, Americans were trying to go through the stores, and we couldn't read anything, and we walked in and walked right back out because we couldn't read anything in the stores, but we were thirsty and wanted something to drink, because we were walking through this mall. Everyone looked at us like, what is going on? There's 40 not brown people walking around our store. They walked up and down an aisle, said some kind of woo-woo fucking, I ain't got this, whatever accent that they want to impersonate us with, and walked right straight back out the store. Now, they probably thought 1,000 things, but why? All we did was walk in, wanted something to drink, couldn't understand what the fuck anybody was saying or what anything says, and walked right back out. But the looks on everybody's faces was, what the fuck just happened?
Hey,
we're just thirsty, man.
Miss Katie Schultz says, my brother retires next week from one of those ABCs. And I'm going to tell you, Miss Katie, if you have been around this broadcast for as long as a lot of these people, you'll realize that I'm not coming down on any of them. I truly believe that there are some good hearts.
I like to.
They're good. Well, Larry busts their ass, but listen, I believe that there is a flame in the heart of man, period. Okay. And that flame can, if given the right fuel, given the right truth, will absolutely just burst into a flame and consume a lie with that little flame's truth. I believe in the men and women. I do. I cannot not. I know too many of them.
This is the side that I always throw in there. Okay? I don't care what outfit someone has. And you can't have a presumption that just because someone wears an outfit that they have all the answers. With that being said, if you have people running a platform that uses state or federal funds, at least in the United States, America, whatever the hell you want to call this fucking place, when you have a group of people that have elitist entitled titles, they're in their public capacity, right? You have your public capacity and your private capacity. People, just citizens, are in a private capacity. If you have any job that is, government, county clerk's office, whatever, you're in your public capacity. Okay, it's like that example that I give with the ship, right? If the captain of the ship, meaning a branch of government or something along those lines, ends up being rogue, frivolous, corrupt, crooked, is embezzling, violating the rights of the citizenry, et cetera, the list of things that you cannot violate, including actions unbecoming of law enforcement, for example. If you violate anyone's rights in that capacity, you are to be removed from your public capacity, put in your private capacity, and held accountable for your actions or lack thereof. So if a captain of a ship, say a branch of the government, CIA, FBI, military, police departments, FBI, whatever, pick a whatever.
Right.
If any of the leadership of that is intentionally violating the citizenry, has intentional negligence for political and economic gain or kickbacks for themselves, and they have violated their oath of office or is intentionally run rogue, and they think that no one can touch them, it is the job of everybody in the chain of command up to that point to resist or remove by force if necessary, which is a constitutional right, to remove rogue government platforms by force if necessary. If no one will do that, then the entire damn branch needs to be disbanded, audited, and held accountable for violating the citizenry as a team. Okay? When a body gets a disease, the whole body is diseased unless part of the body fights off the disease. If that uniform is part of the corruption, they are part of the corruption. Now, with that, the lower branches obviously can't know what's going on. Like the example we use is, there's not very many people that jump on a drum set and they're the best in the world as soon as they touch drumsticks.
No.
I didn't know a damn thing about the military when I joined in. I didn't know shit about the law enforcement when I joined law enforcement. I didn't know shit. I was a guy that just needed to do a job. I did what I was told. You follow orders. That's that. As I went, I learned what the fuck was going on. Okay? I'll give an example. I was offered a position as sergeant for Homeland Security a while back. And I was in this interview for an hour or two. And I was talking to this commander. And they were giving me all the, vacuum salesman stuff and such. And I realized through a period of time, I flat out was asking him, like, what do you guys do? What are you doing? What am I here for? I was being offered a sergeant position in Homeland Security. I need to know what the fuck I'm getting in. So I was taken in this room, right? And there was pictures all along the room, right? Just pictures. And with the pictures was descriptions of children that were in the pictures, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't take very long to realize that as this person was explaining to me what was going on with these, let's just go with hundreds of children, right? They were explaining to me who these kids were, where they were, who they had been with, and where they presumed they were going or have been, and just a complete profile of these kids. And I realized, if they know everything about these kids, why the fuck are these kids on the wall? If they know everything about these kids. Then I realized it was part of the problem. Now, if you go back to John McAfee, who coincidentally was from Tennessee and he was running for president, he donated all the laptops for D.C., public information. What he was trying to do was figure out who was trying to kill him and set him up, because, it was like McAfee versus Gates, right? Basically the software engineers, in a sense. So John McAfee ended up donating the laptops, and he put a mirror platform called the Ghost Protocol in all of the computers and uploaded all of the information that he found into a dead man switch. Ironically, it got him, air quotes, whacked, because he found out that the Secret Service, it's called Order of the Rose and Boys Town, and we know that Jeffrey Epstein used military tail numbers on his planes. We know that all of the politicians and all the presidential platforms were tied together, and had figured out that it was just a big trafficking ring.
You know
human
what?
trafficking, gun trafficking, drug trafficking, and child trafficking. So who is going to do their jobs to clean this mess up?
I'm going to leave it to
Let
the
that settle,
brainiacs
and
to
I'm going
just
to back
like.
off a little bit.
Well, here's the thing. I'm defending you in the chat because you can't see it. If Peter's like, there's a guy. Peter is in the chat like spreading like, I don't know. Maybe it's his belief. Maybe it is just him. I don't know that I think he's assuming that you are like, vaccinated, you drinking the Kool-Aid, there's no help for you. And I'm like, dude,
I don't give a shit what he thinks.
you know what? fuck this. You know what? I don't have time for this bullshit. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, Peter, 2 more love and light comments without love and light. And it's like a double-edged sword here. Look, I very rarely, unless you're a troll, I will keep you here. If you are a fucking ABC, I promise you, you're in the wrong fucking chat. Because I will absolutely find out, and I absolutely will know, or 2, you're going to go. I just put up with no bullshit here. Okay? This is not Alex Jones. This is not Jimmy Church. This is not, okay? This is, no, fuck you. You're right. I mean, we don't put up with this bullshit. So you're either going to play nice, or you can just get the fuck out of here. For real. Okay, you got it?
The other thing that I was getting into, speaking of alphabet soups, is why are these people up here? And if you look into the link that I'd sent you all about covert ops overthrowing governments in other countries, and then telling them that they can have sanctuary here in the United States, there's a big part of why those platforms have all of them coming here in the first place, thinking that they have a place to live. Kind of like how when the boats came here with Columbus, and they had the presumption that they would have a place to live, but George Washington was part of the platform that ordered the genocide of 100 million indigenous peoples to make way for the business called government.
Hang on a second. Okay, my opinion, agree to disagree or don't. But here's the thing. I might even be reading your texts wrong. Okay, texting sucks. So just call. I'll tell you what, just call me. Just call the broadcast. Just call it. Okay? Mr. Peter, because again, it's like saying one thing via text and then versus speaking it. I might be taking what you're saying wrong by simply reading it. You see what I'm saying? I am indigenous. I am Cherokee. I'm with you, Johnny. Be good. All right. Okay. Sorry,
What
dude.
happened in the Panama Canal? Why was the Panama Canal and the Gulf War such a big thing? What happened to all those people? What happened to all the people in Venezuela? What happened with Cuba? What's happening in Ukraine? Let's remember the riding the dragon, the Biden connection in China.
But
that video where the Bidens got kickbacks working with China, and then all of a sudden everybody was told to hate the Chinese.
well, that's
What
about like
is happening with
this
all of the
latest flu.
What happened with all the gold and silver and all of the resources in Haiti when the earthquake occurred? I'll just say manufactured out of Haiti. How much gold was that we figured out? $500 million worth of gold and silver that was taken from Haiti that went to New York to create the banking platform.
Millions, dudes, millions, and it doesn't end there. It isn't going to stop. It didn't stop until the people. Somebody said something in the chat about. I think it might have been Johnny Be Good, said something in the chat about maybe him that, and I got to go back. I'm going to go back to this little screen right here. That what's going on is this is putting all eyes on Haiti. I agree with you, but yet it's also putting eyes on Ohio and the situation we have at hand. Now, do you guys really see the screen? It says land. Now, this is from November 15th of 2022. And you guys just heard what Larry said. Okay? Again, let's go back to the beginning. These people don't want to be here. They're trafficked here. They're now being paid millions and millions of dollars to be trafficked here. Okay? The Haitian government granted more than 50 mining companies permits to 3 United States and Canadian companies to explore land occupied by dozens of communities. Okay? Where do you think those people are going? Because I'm telling you, the Haitian government literally is part of the United States government. I mean,
they're a U.S. territory.
Yes, I mean, the apple does not fall too far from the tree here, folks. They don't want to be here. They're trafficked here.
Jeffrey Epstein created the World Disaster Relief Fund and the banking platforms that, in turn, the Hillary administration ends up running. Hillary owns the Levi Corporation that's in Haiti. Now, if you look back,
Michelle
into
Nobles is
Haitian history,
are you
when that
fucking kidding
happened,
me? I got.
They only got maybe 2 to 3% of the donations that even went to Haiti, and then all the people started disappearing. We talked last night about one of Hillary's assistants that got caught trafficking children from Haiti. Where did they go? You guys are arguing about somebody eating a fucking cat.
Right.
Where did all these people's children go? Where did their families go? Where did all of their resources go? I'll give you a hint. New York Stock Exchange and the kickbacks for the New York banking platforms that was created by Hillary. Why is nobody throwing her under the jail?
Because she's part of
somebody's cat.
She's part of the problem. But yes, she's also part of the upper echelon, bro. She's part of this pecking order, and this
Rockefeller.
is bingo. But this is what I'm saying about we can't point fingers at the ABCs that literally do have the ability to discern what's going on, and they can't. Their fucking hands are tied, bro. This same thing happened to a really, really, really good friend of mine, and I understand. However, he did get a different job, and then threw everybody in that department under the bus, literally. I mean...
Well, in a sense, I mean, if you think about it, a lot of these platforms, they're sent off to go do, air quotes, a job, but they don't know what the umbrella of the conversation is until later on down the road when they had the ability to research the results of what was happening. But what this comes down to is like, what happens with the fires in Brazil? South America as a whole, all these platforms overthrowing other governments. It's exactly what's happening in Ukraine right now. And it comes back to these presidential elitists and their families, and we tied all that together last night. The BlackRock, the Rodhams, the Bushes, the whole Epstein clan. We figured out that, what was the guy's, Wilson, Woodrow Wilson, tied to the Maxwells. We went all the way up and down the chain.
Right.
Now, who tells them what to do?
Well, that's the thing, the pecking order.
They can't do this stuff by themselves. There's a network. Right. There is a pegboard of what allows these people to do what they do.
There's a pecking order.
The people in the lower echelons don't have any clue.
No. That's
They're
why...
not supposed to. You do what you're told, shut the fuck up.
That's why I keep trying to tell... I know these people are getting tired of me hearing and telling them the ABCs, the police departments. It's not mainly the police department, okay? If you don't know what's going on, then you need to figure out, you know what, here's the thing. This is your city, okay? Your city. You've got a state constitution, which probably the feds can wipe their ass with it. Okay, they don't care about that. The state officials, they can wipe their asses with it. They don't care about that either. It's literally up to you as a people, okay, to protect these people, okay? Get yourselves together. Get yourselves with a donut shop. Go to the donut shop. Y'all just sit down. Just y'all. No feds. No nothing. Just you. Figure the fuck out what you're going to do, because I'm telling you, the infiltration is absolutely going to drive you nuts. It's going to drive you insane.
You know, most of the problem with the people in these titles, they want stupid people in these jobs. They don't want smart people in these jobs. It is a proven fact. They want to keep making stupid people famous, because stupid people will take the rap. Stupid people will do what the fuck they're told and don't question it.
Michelle Nobles. I got. She's like beating down my my messenger here. She's actually tried to call the broadcast. She says because she's a whistleblower in her own criteria here. She said she was sent a warning, a mutilated animal. She sent me some pictures. If she, honey, I'm not gonna show the pictures. I'm not because I'm not.
I'll get your flag.
Yeah, I'm just not. However, mutilated animals. That goes back to what do you call it? What the hell's the name of the mafia? That's the movie.
It doesn't narrow it down.
Where
they put the horse bed.
Yeah,
horse head in your bed.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Where was that? Godfather. That's it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
James Roundtree says the sheriffs are on it. You gonna go against your boss? The sheriffs are on it. You're gonna go against your boss. Absolutely. Here's the thing. Yes. If the sheriff, because that's kind of the situation. The sheriffs need to literally the pecking order. Get the ones that do know what's going on. The sheriff can be replaced. The sheriff is should be the people's police. Okay? The police are the policy enforcement agents. You realize that?
Pig.
Okay, sure for pigs, right?
Public Investigators Group.
But nevertheless.
Public Investigators Group.
Okay. I digress. You guys you get it. But yes, these people can be replaced. The sheriff can be replaced.
I don't. You remember the movie Walking Tall? A guy named Buford Pusser, the guy of the movie The Rock was in. That's the thing.
It appeared out of nowhere.
That movie was about the corruption throughout the sheriff's guild, and then them running, basically deputizing the criminal regimes in the trap houses, which is still running rampant. That's what I'm fighting in my area right now, which anybody who actually knows me knows that I expose pretty much on the daily. But I can't put any faith in some down-home little town guy when they have to follow the chain of command of the Department of Justice, and that goes all the way up and down the chain. They have to follow orders and regulations and quotas from people that tell them what to do. The sheriff is not king, I assure you. It's just some motherfucker in a town that's basically running a mafia ring for asset forfeiture and tax exemption. And where I am from happens to coincidentally also run all the churches, and his family runs the banks. But I digress.
No, I mean...
I can't put any faith in law enforcement.
They're
not the solution. It used to be Minutemen. It used to be people that looked out for their neighborhoods, like the motorcycle clubs, as example. If the sheriff's departments out there really want to get some shit done, why don't you guys make nice with the bike clubs?
The what?
You want some shit done? You ever heard of Bikers Against Child Abuse?
Oh, yeah, dude. We run Rolling Thunder over here in Ohio.
Mm-hmm. You sheriff's departments, you really want some shit done, get with the National Guard and the bike clubs or things like that are in your area. You'll get some shit done. I don't mean to start battle royale, but if you really want to collaborate, a very smart woman that I know told me this nifty sentence. You can't have communication without communicating. Right?
Right.
The equivalence between the groups that I just mentioned is where the origin of the words Minuteman came from. The beginning of the National Guard was based off of the group called Minutemen, right? Remember back in Paul Bunyan, whatever his name was, the guy that rode the horse. The British are coming. The British.
Oh yeah, Paul Revere.
That was Minute. Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan.
Shit. Oh, my corn.
He's talking about Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah, but the basis of that is the tribe mentality. the origin of the National Guards was based upon the Minutemen, the people that looked out for their neighborhood, and they could be ready within a minute. In towns, that is how the bike clubs, the MCs, the gangs, dare I say, mafias and things like that, looked out for their tribe. That's how this place used to be before it was invaded by the white man, air quotes. This work together, or we're all going to fall together. You know that phrase, where we go one, we go all, it makes sense. If the things that are coming from these alphabet soups that we talk about all the time, that's like way above that, the things that they're doing to society to get us to fight at each other, the shit that they're sliding in everybody's ass while we're arguing about what color somebody's hair is,
right,
or that they're here, they're just not from here kind of bullshit. The things that they're doing to us in the next 10, 15 years, it won't matter anymore. Okay? Remember the 2045 initiative?
Of course.
Stuff like that. The mind melding, mind mapping platforms, and nanotechnology taking over the world. They're trying to get us to fight each other while they slip all these agendas under our noses.
Well, see, here's the thing.
We need to work together.
Of course we need to work together. This is the thing. I got to go back to my main number one screen right here. And that is, I want everybody to go to YouTube that gets a chance. We have dissected this video time and time and time and time again. But if you're listening to me, please go to YouTube and do a search for I Pet Goat 2. You talk about subliminal messaging. Did you see a little goat behind a fence? Do you see that? And it's got a little
I've seen it.
oh yeah, that little RFID scanning bar right there. That's what they want you to be. They want you to be that. Because I'm telling you, look again. Look at what I'm just sharing with you right here. Not this one. This one right. Maybe. I got some screens here. Son of a bitch.
Beep.
Right? No, son of a bitch. Where's my screens? I know. No, man.
Did you just beat my phone, or did somebody beat my
I did
phone
not.
like I'm listening
I'm
to?
trying to find my damn my Egyptian. Again, this goes back to Abu Simbel in Egypt. This goes back to the walls of Luxor. This goes back to prior flood. We're dealing with the same sons of bitches. I gotta say it like that. That were there then. These people believe that they are better than you. And I'm not talking about the ABCs. I'm talking about the police. I'm talking about the people that actually pull the puppet strings. You'll never, even if you're in an ABC, you'll never see them. Do you realize that? I'm just doing my job, sir. But you'll never see where that rule of law comes from. Even you. Even on the military battlefield, man. Again, I can't stress enough. The left foot don't know what the right foot's doing. The left arm doesn't know what the right arm's doing. Larry, you can vouch for that. Anybody in the military can vouch with me for that. Am I lying? Y'all don't know what going on. Am I right?
Check what I just sent you a thing in the messenger. I don't know if I sent that to you all earlier, but it ties back into what you were just talking about and what I was just talking about, collaborated in the same sentence.
I also
3 minutes.
need to see
And
what Michelle sent me.
It's Klaus Schwab talking about how the elitists, basically the basis of BlackRock and those that establish these elitist lineages that allow these people to run rampant. It literally talks about how they are on the verge of, first off, I've explained to you all that they're curing death, right? There are people that are alive right now that will live as long as they want to until they choose to die, or they'll just get transhumanism and move on. These people believe that they are about to become living gods, tying directly back to what you were just talking about, what they were trying to do through Egypt, right? That This is Klaus Schwab saying that they are about to become gods, and no one will stop them from what they are about to achieve. And if you try, they will flat out kill you. He says it in his own words. If you get on our way, we will just kill you. About 3 minutes. You might want to check that out.
Michelle's
These
throwing us some
people are the
really good information too. BlackRock. Dig into BlackRock. Me and Charlene, Michelle, we've all covered BlackRock years and years ago. But yes, it's time.
Yep.
Dig in. If you're new to if you have no idea what she just said right there, or we're talking about, dig into BlackRock. Who are they? Who funds them? Where do they get their money? What do they do with their money? Right? You gotta understand, these people, they are
black budget.
Exactly. They are the ones that literally control the world. They control the world. They are the investment financiers for the World Bank. Okay? That's what they are.
The financial system for the rest of us is fake.
Both
they have an entirely different financial system for themselves, and it all ties back to the end of the 1800s and the early 1900s. They actually banned people from having gold after the gold rush, and then they collected and seized all the gold. And then they had, I think it's like 50 or 100 years or something, going into where the Federal Reserve was created when they sank the Titanic. And then they killed off all the competition of the bankers. We went through all that last night.
What was it you just sent me? Because I pulled it up. It looks like a damn TikTok video. What is this?
It's a guy. I sent it to the chat group. It's a guy. The guy in the suit says for educational purposes.
Yeah.
He's got Klaus Schwab behind him.
Okay.
And he starts off with an introduction of how he is explaining that these people are proclaiming themselves as living gods, and then he plays the video. It's about 3 minutes.
I'll tell you what.
It's Klaus Schwab.
Then what I'm gonna do? Oh, okay, hang on. Let me go there. I should let me stop sharing my screen. Go in and start sharing my screen. Share my screen with audio. And what I'll do is we will play. Check this out, everybody. Here's the game plan. I'm gonna play this audio that Larry has kicked over here for me, and the picture that Michelle sent me was absolutely just horrific. It was a little gold cat with half its face missing. Just saying. I'm not gonna share that. I love you, Michelle, but no, I'm not gonna share that. All right, Larry, I'm going to share this this audio as well as this video, as long as and then whenever we come back, we're going to go to break here. Okay? Sound all right? Does this sound all right? What?
I think that you may want to dabble into, because we're trying to stay on topic in a sense, but you might want to go back through all of the links that we shared with each other through our conversation last night that backs up everything that we're saying. It's not just us saying it, but to put it on the table is an entirely different story. You know, people can call us tinfoil hat wearing fucking whatevers, but the facts are the fucking fact.
About what? I mean,
everything.
Well,
all of it.
You can't, dude. You can't like misrepresent something that's like presented right in front of you. That's real. You or me either. Neither one of us can. So the shit we're sharing is absolutely researchable, diggable, and it's truth.
You want to tell them about wee babies?
Well, we'll after the broadcast, after we get done playing this and we get back from break, yes, we will go into the wee baby section of what we dug into. We'll get into that too.
Terrible.
Oh, hang on. Let me unmute this. There we go. All right, so here we go.
Here that he clearly states that they are going to become gods, and there is nothing you can do about it. If you try and resist, they will kill you.
We are going to become gods. Period. If you don't like it, get off. You don't have to contribute. You don't have to participate. But if you're going to interfere with me becoming God, you're going to have big trouble. And we'll have warfare. The only way you can prevent me in this 50 or is to kill me. And you kill me, I'll kill you.
The chilling speech mirrors warnings delivered by Yuval Noah Harari, Klaus Schwab's right-hand man in recent times. Harari also mocks ordinary people as useless and hopeless, and tells humanity they have no future worth living in the brave new world of the WF's Agenda 2030, where the elites have the power of creation and destruction.
Developing even bigger powers than ever before, we are really acquiring divine powers of creation and destruction. We are really upgrading humans into gods. We are acquiring, for instance, the power to re-engineer life.
But the blasphemy of the elites doesn't stop there. We'll expose their plans to supplant Jesus and Christianity in the Western world with their own diabolical religion. If you pay close attention, you'll hear that he clearly states that they are going to become gods.
Okay, so that was it. Did you say that you dropped that in the broadcast chat, by the way, Larry? I think so.
I sent it to you so you could choose if you wanted to.
Oh.
But yeah, usually.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I will do that. I will do that because there's the thing. We want everybody to understand that what we're bringing to the table here is real. Okay. The names here. The fella is. I didn't catch the dude's name, but I did catch that he was Klaus Schwab's right-hand man, who is number one transhumanistic, an agenda pusher. Number two, head of the World Economic Forum, and number three, I'm sorry, ABC, above you. It's all right. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna drop it right here. I'll drop it in the broadcast chat coming at you. Every single one of you guys in the broadcast chat coming at you. Whatever Larry just dropped. So don't hate me if it doesn't. Foo ho rubbery, says Mr. Johnny Be Good. Johnny's being good tonight. I'm glad Johnny Be Good. All right, man. You guys on the other side of things. This specific audio is for the woken military. I'm not saying woke. You know, like come on here. We need to get woke. No, I'm talking about the awakened military men and women that will not put up with any bullshit. That know exactly what's going on. They can see the forest through the trees. We're talking about the ABCs that are awakened. That's you, okay? And the rest of you, men and women in uniform that absolutely know. The name of this right here is called Just a Masquerade. You guys are waking up to the facade of the facade. Welcome to the illusion, the Matrix Minds. Brainiac, don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this break. Crank it up.
I was sent to the front lines and I fought without a clue. I believed in my duty and I felt the honor to hold back the God, the guts and glory until I saw the truth behind the veil of the stars and stripes. A dark side revealed where pawns in their game for power they'll never yield. Awake now, eyes open wide. lie, but it's a corporate charade. We're fighting for their profits, our ideals betray. I won't be silenced, no, I won't bow to their command. I fight for truth and freedom against their ironclad hand. Awake now, eyes open wide, no longer blinded by their lies. This land of the free is just a masquerade. For the powerful few, our sacrifice is made. So raise your voice now, peace stands tall and strong. For the soldiers used for far too long. No more deception, no more lies. Reclaim our honor on the freedom skies.
Welcome to Crystal Cove and Mystic Charms, where magic meets the mundane and the extraordinary becomes every day. Are you ready to gift yourself with the whispers of ancient power stones? To the feel and hear the echoes of our ancient past? Dive into a world where each pendant tells a story, where rare stones hold secrets known only to the universe itself. At Crystal Cove, our collection isn't just jewelry. It's a gateway to a realm of mysticism and wonder. Let the shimmering opal guide you through twilight dreams, or embrace the fiery energy of the sun with our exquisite amber pendants. Each piece, handcrafted by the hands of a true mystic who understand the language of the earth and the fire of one's heart. At Crystal Cove and Mystic Charms, we believe that every soul deserves to sparkle. Whether you seek solace in the calming embrace of amethyst or wish to dance with the vibrant hues of turquoise, our collection holds the key to unlocking your inner magic if you allow it to be so. Visit us today and discover the pendant that speaks to your soul. Crystal Cove and Mystic Charms, where the beauty of our amazing earthy realm meets the magic of the cosmos.
Hey there, Hunter. Go check out our friends at Colorado Custom Game Calls. They are all about creating a high-quality, custom, unique game calls at an affordable price. They are here for hunters that can't and won't pay upwards of $180 to $200 per game call. They pride themselves on giving their customers the opportunity to not only purchase an affordable and high-quality call, but to customize their game call to their liking. So listen up and go check them out. That's www.coloradocustomgamecalls.com. They got calls for all type of game, and all the game calls can be custom made to your own likeness. That's www.coloradocustomgamecalls.com. Tell them Matthew sent you from the Matrix Minds.
What is up, all my beautiful and gorgeous souls? I am Michelle Espinosa, otherwise known as the Shaman, through the Matrix Mind Media. So tell me, how many times have you wished that you had that special power of prediction? You know, to know what was going to happen before it actually happened and took place. To have some power and control over that situation before things came flying at you out of left field. The thing is, you actually can have that power. You can be aware of what's coming. Tune in to Astrology TV with me for Breaking the Cage every Sunday evening at 10 p.m. Eastern on the Matrix Mind Media. And I will go through the astrology and help put you on the right course and get you back in control of your own life. Love you guys.
This CBD fluid is a whole flower fluid extracted from the cannabis flower. We don't use any heat, butane, or chemicals when we extract, so we get all of the components of the plant. All the CBD, CBG, CBA, all the terpenes, all the flavonoids. This allows our body to absorb at 60 to 90% rather than the average of 6 to 10% absorption you would get with a CBD oil. Because our bodies are made up of mostly water and this is a fluid, it's highly absorbable so that you're getting 500% more nutraceuticals per dose. We also have this available in our CBD spray as well as a muscle rub with all kinds of botanicals. You're going to absolutely love it.
Check it out, Brainiacs. MatrixMinds.live/CBD. The CBD I use. Feel free again. Feel alive again. I'm like looking in the chat here. You know what? You know what I've noticed? I'm looking through the chat and I've noticed that there is nobody from the Springfield group in which I shared this broadcast with. I want to go through there and share. I want to share his group. Larry. So what I want to do, I'm going to go through here and share Mike's group here for a second. Because I think that it's important that Springfield, Ohio Crime Watch, just so you guys can see. There we go. All right, there we go. I will go over here and I will share this fella's group, right? And also share with you guys the kind of bullshit that they've got to deal with and they are dealing with right now. This is Mr. Mike Jensen's Jenkins group, right? What the hell? I'm grabbing too much of the screen. There we go. But anyway, I dropped in his chat, you know, in his little group here, that we're going to discuss Springfield and the possible, you know, what's going on, the ins and outs, maybe that they ain't seeing, connecting some dots and blah, 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 blah. Well, again, I watched 7 of my comments today vanish right before my eyes. And a lot of it probably had to do with me calling out Mr. Malik, my own mayor, as well as tagging my own little department up here, Akron. Because here's the thing. I have no problem whatsoever, and everybody knows it up on the Akron mayor's page, to hold these guys accountable and put literally light a fire under their ass when they need it. That's just who I am. So with that being said, you know, tag them in the post. Why not? So, you know, this is the thing here that Mike's having to face is the censorship above and beyond even his hand. There was something posted up in here, and I asked Mike, I'm like, well, where'd the comments go? He's like, I really don't know. I'm like, well, I'm going to tell you now. It's because you've got infiltration in this group with some ABCs that, well, they don't want me to say what I'm saying, and that is, you guys need to hold these people accountable. You need to hold them accountable. And that's even going and literally telling the police department to them, to their face, you guys, you need to somehow corral yourselves as friends. And because I'm telling you, even you are being played. You're being played and you're being used against the people, and the people used against you. Okay, you probably got ABCs, I'm telling you, walking around the streets of Springfield dressed in civilian clothes, just starting shit, burner phones and everything. Do you remember me telling you about that? Burner phones? Shit's real, man. Absolutely real. So it depends on how damn deep you guys want to go down the rabbit hole, but nevertheless, me and Larry went down the rabbit hole pretty damn deep. Lad, damn it! I'm drinking bubbly. Listen to me, I'm all burping and shit. I got some chugging on some Diet Pepsi here, Larry. Bubbly.
I got music in my ear. It's kind of hard to hear you.
Oh yeah, so sorry about that. We didn't really want to hear you anyway. All right, how's that? Is that better? There you go, bro.
So sassy.
Yeah, is that better? All right. Sorry about that.
Speaking of accountability, there should be an oversight committee, which Polk County, Tennessee refuses to have, by the way, and I offered to lead and participate with, but I digress. Here's a thought, Governor DeWine of Ohio. I sent a link to you last night, and part of that link was posted 5 days ago. It says Springfield, Ohio gets $2.5 million to watch the Haitians.
Yeah.
Now, you think maybe they could have used that, let's just round it up, $3 million to maybe do better things than watch people?
Well,
Just saying.
of course,
Because there's already all these fancy machines in place, as we have discussed, and you started off with, is we have talked about how these satellites, you're talking about bomb threats and stuff, like there is disaster recognition software that can tell when there's an explosive material compiled together with a device that could cause harm. The disaster recognition software in the satellites can detect all of that. So, I mean, they can track your phones. There's trigger words. The word that I just used that started with a B probably just triggered my cell phone and put me on a watch list. Oh, wait, I already am, because I said the B word. Now, with what we know with the cell phones,
you talking about this
alone,
one, man, bro?
Mapping everything about us, they know everything. Now, why would they need to spend $2.5–3 million to watch a racial group that's in a little town somewhere in almost nowhere, Ohio? I don't mean to be offensive. Isn't there military posts all around that place that we talked about last night? Wasn't it? Didn't you guys have that thing with the train? What was that? That thing with the train wreck that you were talking about?
East Palestine, Ohio. East Palestine.
Yeah.
So we can definitely talk about that one too.
Why is all this stuff happening up there around all these hubs?
Well, I can tell you one thing. I think a lot of it's got to do with there's going to be some disclosure come out here real soon that are literally is going to shock the population. Now here's the thing. Facebook defriended me from my boy Johnny Enoch some time ago. When I don't know, but I gotta shout out to Johnny. And I'll share Johnny Enoch's post. If you guys are not familiar with who Johnny Enoch is, he is a very vocal disclosure mouthpiece. He has worked for the Travel Channel. You've seen him on Gaia. You've seen him on a lot of different broadcasts. And Johnny's my boy. And I got to share with you a post, Larry, where, as well as everybody here. So I'm going to go to Johnny's page here real quick and share with you. Because they defriended me and him. And I'm like, I got you now, bro. I got you back. And there's some posts here. Johnny's like me. In a way, we're a lot alike. And that is, we put up with no bullshit. And that is one of the reasons why he is getting threats. He is like, I'm gonna scream on the mountaintop the best I can until I can't no more. Blah 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 blah. I mean, it's just who he is. There's a post in here where he posted that him and somebody is going to. Maybe, I mean, dude, I don't know. I might get involved with him on this. Who knows? But I know he's talking about Disclosure 2.0, okay? And that is literally calling out those in the higher, let's just say higher MSM mouthpieces, talking heads, we call them, paid for talking heads, that are literally bought and paid for to come on the boob tube and tell you a bunch of bullshit. Well, here's the thing. Johnny, me, Larry will tell you the fucking truth if even if our life depends on it. Okay, and Johnny can tell you who, where, how much from the top tier down, because he's been there. This is the thing, the difference between me and Johnny. Johnny's been there. Johnny is up here, and he's, from what I understand, really, really, really sick of being sick and tired of the bullshit of disclosure of all of these things, like Ohio. Ohio's a central hub. You heard Larry say it, and it was all these things. Ohio is a main vein for trafficking, okay, as well as spying. Okay, we've got two main interstates. Main interstates, man. Right across the Canadian pond, we've got Cleveland. Okay, Cleveland. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame type shit. You guys know about that, right? Well, right there is I-90. Okay? I-90, all the ground pounders will know this. The Turnpike, Route 80. That motherfucker goes all the way around, all the way across the United States. It's a main vein. The railroad, the ports are right there on the lake. Excuse me. Again, I'm burping for a reason. It's the Diet Pepsi. But in other words, what I'm saying is they have built their trafficking system perfectly. Traffic system perfectly.
Exactly like it is here.
Seriously.
I'm in the crosshairs of the South in Tennessee. I actually have a cleavage land
right there.
in Tennessee that's the next town over from me, so I same way.
David Nash is the driver. He's got it. He
thing,
right there.
The odd thing about this town in Ohio is they're trying to get everybody up in arms, exactly like they're trying to do at the southern border with the air quotes Mexicans and the immigrants and migrants that are trying to come into the United States. They're taking our jobs. Springfield is a big gun town. If you look through the search that I sent you yesterday, there's a whole lot of gun stuff going on.
It's rural,
so you know
bro.
How you bait somebody. You bait somebody, and you know what they're trying to do with these political platforms? They want to take your guns.
Well, yeah,
they send all these. They're sending all these people and pointing fingers at people and trying to get people to go up into arms so they can start shootings. Did I say that? Yeah.
I just seen Johnny Be Good drop something about Josine Maxwell. Josine Maxwell in the Podesta tried to steal my child some 30 years ago. I am so sorry to hear about that, bro. What the fuck was that about? That's again, all of what you just said, Johnny, plays right into where we are at now. Okay, and again, Johnny Enoch is part of that. I'm not gonna take it bullshit program. Okay, he's we have a lot in common. I mean, I told him. I mean, I don't know who. Facebook's good for doing this. They're good for discontinuing good connections of people that can make a difference. Now, I'm not saying that or I'm not tooting my own horn. Okay, I'm not. However, the system look at me as an influential mouthpiece. I know that they do. Because the West Coast people in that level of broadcasting, they can't stand me, and I'm completely. My heart pitter patters because I really don't give a fuck that they don't. Seriously, that's my look at it. I don't care about that. It's not about that. Johnny Be Good said they shut you down, mofo. There you go. We're not. Let me. You know what? Here's the kicker. Me and Larry just pointed this out to me today. today. Did you not say, Larry? Did you not to me say you could not be bought out? And I'm like, I do. I have a number. As far as being bought out, though, say what you said.
Well, what I had mentioned was they had tried to already when I was 17, when I invented it's titled as an air-powered car, but it's basically a self-sufficient perpetual motion device with electromagnetic flux that is basically a zero pollution, zero emissions. It takes zero fossil fuels other than creating this device. And when I was almost 18, I had several branches of organizations around the country on the phone with me, and they told me that if they asked me if I would hand over all of my documentation to my patent process and all of the affiliated paperwork for 2 truckloads of cash. Light pause. Or I can look over my shoulder for the rest of my life. And obviously I'm not rich. And none of you know anything about me having an air-powered car that you could replace your home power supply, anything with the engine on it, with my system, and never have to pay for oil, gas, or an electric bill for the rest of your lives, much less for your lives since at least 1994. Imagine if you never had to pay an electric bill, you never had to pay for a well pump, never had to pay for a gasoline or repairs affiliated with that, or oil, engine repairs, or anything. It was a perpetual motion device. Mm-hmm. It worked very similarly to a Searle effect generator, in a sense. Put that on an air compressor and it runs itself is basically how that worked. So as we said the other day, they couldn't offer me the equivalent of a cash to buy a country to buy me out. Couldn't happen. I would laugh at you. Not happen.
Is that
you
right?
You said you had some sort of number. I don't know what that is, but you cannot buy me.
Well,
I'm going to do whatever I have to do to expose the truth and help society with what breath I have left.
I would take their money. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I would take their money. Okay? But in the process of taking their money, there's no way I would probably build a small empire. Okay? And then I would blow the whistle so loud on what they did or how they did to me. I would utilize that money to gain what we need. We need traction. We need people. You and me can't, dude. I'm speaking to maybe 50 people at the most every Monday, Tuesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay? Visibly. But here's the thing. This is what they're showing me. What I do know is the show reaches 11 million people in a 90-day span. Okay, so they're gaslighting me by saying, oh, well, I'm sorry, Matt, it's only reaching 20 people today. When really it's
15 people.
It's not, bro. Yeah, you got 21 people up in here. Really? That's who's like what? Interacting maybe? They're not counting the other 200 people. Dude, they know I'm going to take, I will absolutely take their money, build an empire, and then shut their fucking mouth up my own self. I do not care about the West Coast people at all. You know why? Because, again, it takes people like Johnny Enoch and people like me or people like Brad Olson or people like blah, 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 you, other people, to literally throw them the bait, let them bite on it, give me the money, dude, and run them right over. I've never, ever truly had that opportunity. I haven't. I've gotten, what's it called? Offers. We've gotten some offers because of numbers between 15 and 20 grand a year, but that ain't shit. That is nothing. They wanted me to change everything I did, how I did it, and in the means of ways I need to do it. No. That is not going to happen. Ain't going to happen. They want me to censor Larry. They want me to calm my little ass down.
Good luck with that.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm supposed to use the word fart instead of fuck. if I'm mad, and if Kristen Harden gets on here and she's all pissed off, she can't really say what she's feeling. Yeah, dude. Yeah, well, it's simple as that. Fuck that. No, that's just not me. Okay? And this is, again, why I like Johnny, why I like Brad, why I like you, why I'm drawn to everybody up in this broadcast, because they do not give a shit about, again, Johnny's the truth will prevail. I'm going to speak the truth to you if it fucking kills me. People do not realize how truly dangerous what we do really is. They don't get it. I'm not talking these guys. I'm talking the majority of the people. This is just a fucking joke. It's just a broadcast. Really? Okay. But I digress. I'm going to come up for air. I'm going to throw in a nice big chop of Copenhagen. Go ahead and you just finish talking. Because again, Larry, I trust you. I trust you with all my heart, okay? And I know that if my freedom came down to you speaking for me, or Johnny, or Lee, or anybody in this chat, you would speak how we would need you to speak. In other words, do you follow what I'm saying? You could, on my behalf, you could absolutely speak for me. What I need to be. Hands down, I know you could. What do these people need to live? What do these people need to function? You know exactly what it is we need to function. You've been there.
That's just accountability and a nice purge, for starters.
Yeah, that's
my top three first initial thoughts there. Justice, accountability, and a nice fucking purge. Would do some good. Did what all else? I mean, I know we're trying to milk out a 4 or 6 hour conversation we had last night that we wanted to throw on the table. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get all that, but is there anything that we're missing that you could think of that you want to throw out here that we tried to explain how this tied together, and we explained how all the politicians and everything ties back to the cabal, and did we explain to them how London created Israel and how the cabal has amnesty and most of the people that are in politics are tied to Israel? Mm-mm. And they give political amnesty to the pedo rings and the tattoo bill. There was the little side thing we were talking about in the chat with the other people that we kind of gave the bait for Miley Cyrus's tattoo, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, let me throw in this chew real quick, and we'll go down that rabbit hole.
I'm just trying to go through the list of like everything that we kind of went into, because this what we're trying to explain is like all of the presidents are related, blood related, not like they know each other, they're homeboys, they hang out at the same, no, they are fucking family. Okay? So why is it that there's arms dealers in politics? Why have we consistently been in wars since World War I, World War II, et cetera, and why? Who's getting paid for all these things? Who's getting the kickbacks? Who's running the covert ops with these things? Who is using these systems to overthrow other governments so these families can stay in charge? Where did they come from? You know what I mean?
Good question, Ryan.
These people are puppets. And on top of that, as we talked about earlier, why in the everlasting fuck is there such a thing as political amnesty for crimes against humanity in public capacities? Why does that exist? And with that, all of these spectacular titles of exceptionally elitists that are supposed to be protecting the citizenry, when are you fuckers going to do your job? Yes, I said it. Why do we still have to talk about this stuff with these rampant corruption platforms? Meanwhile, Army, Air Force, Marines, Special Forces, so-called FBI, Secret Service, you know, why do you exist if we still have rampant corruption that is overthrowing the world? This is violations of human rights. This is violations of international law. This is violations against the citizenry and misuse of state and federal funds. By the way, the fucking money isn't even real. If you go back to the Woodrow Wilson aspect of things and how they created the New York Stock Exchange, look up corruption of history of the New York Stock Exchange, history of corruption in the FBI, history and corruption of the Secret Service, history and corruption of Washington, D.C. Why do these things exist? When is someone going to do their jobs? I would pause. I actually want an answer.
Well,
You, from these so-called people that have these titles, and if they don't feel they can do their job, I'd suggest you go ask your supervisor, and if they can't answer your question, have them answer their supervisor. It's called a chain of command. Here's an example. Why in the fuck is Tennessee number 4 in child trafficking in the United States? I was kidnapped from Tennessee when I was 10 years old, by the way. It's part of why I moved back to Tennessee. So why is Tennessee number 2 in overdoses in the United States? So back to the original question, why is Tennessee number 4 in the United States for child trafficking? And I'd highly suggest that someone get a hold of the general of the Tennessee National Guard and ask them when they're going to do their job. Do that in your own state. There's hundreds of thousands of children missing in each of your states. Ask these authorities in a grievance form, whether it be verbal or written, they have to answer these things. And as I had just done, this is called a verbal grievance. And they are held accountable to respond to those things. And someone feel free to send them this link. I don't care who it is, Secret Service, FBI. I just had a bunch of U.S. Marshals in my house. I'd like to know why you feel free to come and try and kill me on my own property, but not do anything about the rampant corruption that sent you to my house. But I digress. I'd like to know who is going to do their jobs somewhere along these lines. It is the oath of the National Guard to protect each state and the citizenry from all enemies, foreign and domestic. I am not seeing a whole lot of protection of domestic terrorism. Terrorism is the utilization of violence against the citizens and in political and economic gain. Tyranny is that which is legal for the government, but legal for the citizen. What is legal for the government, but illegal for the citizenry. If you use state and federal funds in a rogue platform in anything in your public capacity, you are by all rights a treasonous domestic terrorist. If you are involved with child trafficking, and these fucking phones that everybody's using knows everything about everyone. Zuckerberg is in the middle of court cases right now because he's being, there are people pointing fingers at him, kind of like Google.
Exposing
they know everything
it.
about all of you. They know everything about all of you. They're being held accountable of why have you not done the right thing. If they can do that for Zuckerberg, they can do that for everybody in your town, right? Each town, ask your oversight committee, when is the last time you audited or the National Guard stepped into oversight committee to assist in auditing any corrupt activities happening in each town? Because there's plenty of staff to do that. And if they won't do it, boys and girls, they're the problem.
Yo.
Why are there missing children in your town? Why is there corruption in your town or your state? Ask them. And ask them for a response. They have to give you a response within, I believe it's 14 to 15 business days. If they don't, it's called intentional negligence, and you can remove those people from their titles. So, Mr. General of Tennessee, I want to know when you're going to do your job.
So, Mr. Mayor of Springfield, Ohio, When are you going to do your job? When are you going to listen to people? What are you doing? How did these people get there? How much did you get bought off for? To not say anything? Or did you? Who knows? The rabbit hole goes deep. So let's go on to this wee babies thing, Mr. Hawkins.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share with everybody Miss Miley Cyrus's tattoo. And it would be right here.
Shall I explain? You gonna do that, or you want me to explain how I stumbled on this?
Well, that's fine. I'm share. You can share. Show it. Sure. You can go ahead and share, and I'm bringing up the images.
Okay.
So wee babies. So this is Miley's tattoo.
Yeah. So how this conversation stumbled upon my existence was I have a tattoo on me, right? And it's basically like a little star, right? Coincidentally, it is a lot like the star that Buffalo Bill has on his hand in Silence of the Lambs. I had the tattoo before I saw the movie, for the record. So anyway, I saw an interview that Miley Cyrus, of all people, and we can get into the kicking dirt in her nasty little eyes if you want to, but to get to the point, turned out that Miley Cyrus was doing an interview and she was showing someone her tattoo on a TV interview. And I went, holy fuck, I got the same tattoo. Something going on in my yard.
Keep going.
I got the same tattoo. I'm going to have to walk out here with you guys. So I got the same tattoo as Miley Cyrus did. So I'm like, what the hell? And then through the process, she started talking about how she got tattoos with her friend, and what her friend's tattoo said. I may have to kill somebody in my yard, so I'll just keep going.
Oh boy!
What the tattoo said, you know how it is, right? What the tattoo said was "wee babies." I believe it was WEEBABIES, wee babies, that they decided to get tattooed on themselves. And I'm like, what in the hell? So I looked that up. I looked what that was. I was like, what? What are you barking at? I went to look up what that was, and it turned out that I did a little research on what the hell is wee babies. Well, wee babies ended up. What the hell are you chasing, weird dog? Wee Babies, it turned out that there's a company called Wee Babies that makes hyper-realistic dolls. And the hyper-realistic dolls, it looks like little children, right? And we all know that Miley Cyrus came from Disney. You know, it's obvious. We all know what they did to those kids. And people like Miley Cyrus. We'll just leave that as what it is. And coincidentally, the Wee Babies hyper-realistic doll company makes their dolls out of the same exact materials that they make pocket pussies with.
Just repeat that.
The company that makes Wee Babies, the hyper-realistic dolls that looks like real little children, little infants, is made with the exact same formula of the materials that companies make pocket pussies with. Why would this woman, dare I call her that, and her friend get that tattooed on themselves as a matching tattoo? Aside that, why in the hell would a company make hyper-realistic dolls made with pocket pussy material?
Mm-hmm. One can only speculate, right? We can.
I stumbled on that. I figured that was worth throwing on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So of course that goes into the trafficking platforms through the music industry, and you know that whole conversation. But I don't know if anybody got time for all that. But I figured that was worth throwing on the table just to mix things up a little bit.
Well,
Because that's part of what we talked about last time.
Miss Lisa says reborn babies. I think it goes a little bit more sexual than just a reborn baby, Lisa. I think that I personally think that there are some really, really, really confused people in the world. I've shared already with the majority of you that I am a person that loves to listen to. I watch people's faces. I listen to their... Here's the thing. People put off a body language. You can hear their body language, right? And it's like whenever these people are in just peculiar situations, whether it be sexual, whether it be scared, whether it be whatever, there is a sort of a black veil that washes over their face or their eye that's not even there. It's like they're not even there. In fact, there's Larry probably knows what the hell's it, the shell shock or whatever the hell, where the military, a guy. Check this. I delivered a hard drive to a guy today, and was telling him about the broadcast. And whenever I told him that there are military orders of jobs where again, Larry may not have known what Percy was doing. Percy didn't know what Larry was doing, or so on and so forth, whatever. And somebody within his company had the objective to walk it. Now, bear in mind, this might be a trigger to somebody. I'm not saying Larry had to do this. I'm not saying he even seen this. I'm just saying this happens, and he will verify that it happens. We've literally been told by other military, not Larry, that his company was going into a specific city. Okay, some of his brigade or his company went right whenever they kept going straight, and some of them went to the left. Nevertheless, it was up to a certain two individuals to literally drive out, listen to the words, drive out said people in this specific building. Now, how were they going to do that and make it very well known that they were a target in that building? Well, this sniper, right, was told by his higher ranking official, listen again, the trigger, to shoot the baby out of a woman's arms. I didn't stutter. It was his job to shoot the infant out of the baby's arms. Why? Why was to drive them out of the building. Now, for a military man or woman to even subject themselves to that, and then remotely come back here into society and think that they can just fit in normal, or we think that they can fit in normal, it's very hard to do. Very hard to do.
A lot of these other countries will use children
as shields
to put bombs in scooters and have them come over and set off bombs in these other countries. So, yeah.
What do you do? I mean, again, what do you do? This is why I try very hard now to tell as many people as I possibly can, you're not working for people. Well, here's the thing. You're I guess you can say you're working for the civilians, but yet you're also a military. And these military are used against other countries that are innocent. Or maybe they aren't innocent. It's not the problem with the people. It's the governments that are corrupt that we've got the problems with. That's who we've got the problem with. I can get along with a Chinese guy. I can get along with a Japanese guy. Or a Haitian. A Guatemalan, whatever. It's not that. Our problem is not with the people. Our problem is with corrupt government. These upper echelon pawn movers, per se. You threw something out there last night, Larry, that was really key to me, and it made me really think, and that was, we all heard about the migrant crisis and the caravans. There's caravans coming to the border. Where did they all go? Think about that. Where did
Military bases.
Where did they all go?
Went to military bases. After that, I don't know. They were dispersed throughout the United States, but most of what I had seen was they got transferred to military bases. Now, before we jump off too far, I wanted to reiterate why I brought up the wee babies things. Not to change the subject, but
Again.
before we get too far, I want to jump back in that conversation. So go ahead.
I'm at this point. I'm listening. I'm listening and enjoying my chew.
Well, yeah. Again, I mean, if you look back into what happened in Venezuela, Guam, Guatemala just had a genocide here recently, and for some reason, the headquarters for the Walmart of the United States office is in Guatemala. So, the fires in South America and Brazil and all that, they basically are burning them all out, politically or literally. So, they keep telling them they can come here and get sanctuary, and then this is what they end up with. So, can I jump back into the purpose of why I brought up the wee babies thing before I forget? Kind of important.
Go ahead. I'm reading comments.
Do you remember last night? And I sent you all a link. You remember that I sent you the link with Roseanne Barr interviewing
Kathy O'Brien. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I would like if you would drop that in this, or I will come back and drop it. And I highly suggest that people watch the Laurel Canyon, Mind Control in the Music Industry, link that I think I shared the last time that I was collaborating with you guys on here. I keep it on the quick draw, but I highly suggest you all watch that interview of them talking about Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, the Doors, who their families were, the Byrds, all these band members that were actually led by covert ops. Okay, drop that one in there. So the history of Laurel Canyon or something like that, and Mind Control in the music industry, the Grateful Dead, all that was human experimentation platforms. Drop the interview with Kathy O'Brien and Roseanne Barr. By the way, shout out to Roseanne. You're doing a great job out there, girl. Keep on doing your thing. With that, what Kathy O'Brien testimony talks about is it ties back into the same people that were tied into what happened to 9/11 that we were just talking about the other day. The politicians that are running these rogue platforms are running the same show all the way around. And Kathy O'Brien literally calls them out by name, having to service Hillary Clinton as example, having to service what was the guy we talked about in 9/11 the other day? I can't think of his name. She names them all.
I'm looking for this video.
She was part of the Order of the Rose, where the Secret Service and the politicians were trafficking, harvesting, and grooming children, which is exactly what the Epstein platform was doing, for and through politicians. And she names them all.
There had been a national security.
Okay?
Sorry.
She names them all. You guys need to watch these things in sequence together, and you will figure out. Watch that, and then watch the documentary about the MENA connection.
I just
So
dropped
the Bushes, the Clintons, John Kerry, Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney in Kentucky, they call it Cocaine Mitch. I wonder why. But these families are all tied together, and they have always been in these platforms. They've not been anywhere. I showed you all before that the voter tally machines were rigged by the guy that designed the machines that has an internal 4951 flip switch. Look up Florida software engineer testifies in federal court that all voter tally machines are rigged with the 4951 flip switch, only observable by the controllers, and hit send. And you'll see a blonde guy in Florida going back, I think, 10, 15 years ago, how he designed the machines to rig all the voting machines. It does not matter who you vote for, and it never has. As a reference, look back, Battle of Athens, Tennessee, where the citizens, the veterans, fought the politicians and the sheriff's department, literally, with guns, grenades, and Molotov cocktails, and took over the town because they caught the corrupt sheriff's department and the politicians, their own damn families, making sure that their families stayed in power. Now they're doing it digitally. Nothing has changed.
No.
So again, with that, since we are putting this all on the table, and this is all public information, this is not just because I've had magic jobs in the past. This is public information. When are you fucking people out there going to do your jobs? I digress. Listen to Kathy O'Brien's testimony. She is from Tennessee, by the way.
Look, I've got this. I did drop it in the chat. I dropped the link in the chat. You should have audio. So we are at 40 minutes and 38 seconds within this video. The time frame is literally 40 minutes, 38 seconds. So I'm going to play this, Larry, because it's only an hour and 19 minutes long. I do highly, because of the topic, I think it's very important that they hear it. Because I want them to, I want to make damn sure that they hear it. So I'm going to play this, Larry.
Are you Kathy?
Bro, I'm literally right there. That's what I got to.
Hell yeah.
And
I will, if you want, I will back off when we can finish with that, because you all need to hear what she says. And I'll just step out and watch from the background, and I'll just digress.
You know,
how about that?
That's fine.
You're pushing 2 hours anyway.
I know, that's fine. I'll do that, and then we will continue on on War Dial Wednesday, man. There's a lot of shit that we didn't cover, but
yeah, we needed to go over a lot, but I think we painted a decent picture. We were on the phone from like 10:30 till 4 o'clock in the morning, milking this conversation.
Yeah.
And it goes way farther than we can put on here in an hour and a half. I assure you. The things that we figure out, there's people that already know all of this. If we don't know shit, imagine what the people that do know. With that, I step away and I bid you all adieu. Or whatever that phrase is.
Yeah.
Good night. Smoke weed every day. Love everybody.
All right.
Adios.
Good night, Larry. Love you, buddy.
Take care.
Peace. All righty, man. Ladies and gentlemen.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Shanae. All right. All right. I'm going to play you guys what we just dropped in the broadcast chat. Again, you know what? Just to let you know, the majority, again, we're not throwing any ABC under the bus, any local police there in Springfield, any of the Haitian community, any of the white community, the black community. It is far, 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 far deeper than any of us truly can fathom. Okay? Only thing I can tell you is above and beyond all things from here on out is just stick together. Keep your guys' mind clean, clear. Keep your guys' consciousness as clear as you possibly can. And again, look out for one another. Take care of one another. With that being said, I'm going to leave you guys with Miss Kathy O'Brien. She is one of my MK Ultra friends. This would be Miss Sandy Bergen. Knows Kathy O'Brien, I guess, from pretty well, I guess. But Kathy O'Brien is a victim of let's just say upper echelon MK Ultra alter ego slave sex trade, like you name it. Just pay attention, because again, this little video is very, very deep. So hopefully this it will not get censored. With that, guys, I myself bid you farewell. I love you, and I will catch you here on Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock West Coast Time. And peace out, everybody. You guys, Miss Kathy O'Brien.
Love is the greatest healer. I'm so fortunate to know love and to have survived my experiences, to be here tonight to speak out on the subject of mind control. Thank you, all of you, each and every one of you, for coming out here to arm yourself with this pertinent information. Love is the greatest motive for me to speak out on this subject, because it is my love for humanity that compels me to bring this truth to light. I'm deeply concerned for our survival if we don't learn this information. The experience that I had could have left me very bitter and vengeful and hateful, but it is none of those negatives that compel me to speak out at all, because I find that those kind of negatives actually hinder my ability to even think clearly. If I'm outraged, I'm not even capable of thinking so well. Besides, negativity tends to feed the energy of the criminals that are in control of our government right now, manipulating the minds of all of us. Now that I'm free to speak out, and now that I know love, it feels so good to realize that there are good people in this world, that there is good and bad running through everything. Here we are speaking in a church, and yet a church was so much a part of my abuse. So again, there's good and bad in everything. There's good and bad in government. There's good and bad even in the CIA. Mark Phillips is some powerful evidence to me that there are people in intelligence who have integrity and soul and compassion. And that was a real eye-opener for me, because my whole world was covered in abuse. My whole world was one where I couldn't see beyond my experiences of the moment. I couldn't even think to hope anymore. I lost that ability at about age 6. How it happened was that I was born into a multi-generational incest-based family, like so many other people are. There's certainly nothing rare about it. Child abuse is so pervasive on our planet. All we need to do is open our eyes and look around us to see how widespread that it is. The sexual abuse that I experienced left my sexuality heightened, which is very common in a situation like that. And I'm sure that Dr. Lois Lee has seen so many of these children that, like myself, end up on the streets as prostitutes, with their sexuality being exploited even further because of abuse that they'd already endured in childhood. It's absolutely atrocious, the extent of the abuse that's going on for systematic, deliberate reasons, and for reasons that have just become a so-called norm, a natural part of our society, because after 3 generations of an attitude of sexual abuse, it becomes autogenic within a family unit. That's why I said that I'm from a multi-generational incest-based family. My mother was sexually abused, my father was sexually abused, and the sexual abuse just goes all up the family tree. I don't see that as their excuse for abusing me sexually whatsoever. I ended up with like a 100th monkey syndrome is something where I didn't have that natural propensity to continue that abuse or to even accept it and to think that it's the way things should be. As a matter of fact, it was so traumatic to me that I developed dissociative identity disorder, formerly termed multiple personality disorder. It's not that I could think to judge my father when he abused me. It wasn't like that at all. I mean, I was so very young. It happened as far back as I can remember, and he often bragged that he substituted his penis for my mother's nipple. So it was very early on. I also know that my father was like that with my brothers and sisters that came along in later years. So it was way before I could morally judge such a thing or before I had any kind of mental concept of how life should be. Instead, my brain automatically kicked in. When the abuse occurred, it began to compartmentalize the trauma of that event so that the rest of my mind could function normally. My father's sexual abuse of me was horrific because it suffocated me and it caused a lot of pain as a very, very young infant. At the same time, it put my sexuality into a survival mode that was the equivalent of breathing or eating or drinking. It was just became a very strong base instinct. The Hitler-Himmler research had already determined that this was what happens in the human brain when anytime abuse occurs. And when abuse occurs, where the brain begins to section off the abuse so the rest of the mind can function normally, there becomes less and less conscious mind to be able to think through exactly what is happening. They were very much interested in this because if the traumas are repeated enough and there's enough compartmentalization created in the brain, then the subconscious mind is left wide open to being manipulated and easily led. That was what they wanted for mass mind control in a society. It's what they wanted for that kind of Manchurian candidate attitude and for being able to manipulate ultimately the politics of the planet as well as the population as a whole. These experiments that Dr. Ross referred to were so heavily going on when I was born in 1957 that by the early 60s, mind control was in full swing. The CIA was taking information from what the Catholics had long since learned about the effects of trauma on the human mind when they did the Spanish Inquisition and the Crusades, and they found out how people responded to that kind of trauma, that kind of torture. And it was so strong on the population, as a matter of fact, that it ended up where the few free thinkers that were left went underground and secret societies began forming and spinning off that. I'm not saying secret societies are right or that they're good, but they came from horrible, torturous abuse that was going on, that was trying to control people and steer them into one belief rather than leaving them to their own normal development. Project Paperclip had already happened, and the Nazi and fascist scientists from Hitler's Nazi Germany were brought into the United States, and the information was being combined with this information from the Catholics that the CIA was combining into a very powerful form of mind control. The MK-Ultra mind control projects were very strong, but they weren't just experimental at the time that I was in. They were already absolute. They knew exactly what they were doing. And they even had it established where they had a certain faction of the government set up to target children like my dissociative identity disorder, where the memory of the abuse was compartmentalized into those different compartments. Along with that compartmentalization comes a 44 times visual acuity, because it's like you get these eyes in the back of your head to see if the abuse is coming. And when people have been horribly traumatized, you'll notice that their eyes are wide open, and very often you see the whites around their eyes. Their blink responses aren't aren't even proper. But that's because the body is going into this mode of, trying to stop the problem before it happens again, or is trying to stop the traumas and the horrors before they occur again. Additionally, we use 10% of our brain. I've heard figures 8 to 10% of our brains is about what we use. Well, when you have that kind of abuse, it blasts you into other parts of your brain. And so you end up in using other parts that most people never get to because they don't even know that it exists yet. Because the information that's so important to know about our own brains that we all have a right to know have been suppressed for so-called reasons of national security, so that the information can be used to control us instead of to let us know what our brains are capable of. Our brains are capable of far more than we ever dreamed, and I feel really fortunate to have survived my ordeal to know what our brains can do and to be able to exercise mine and use mine for freely in the ways that everyone should know we can do, such as the 44 times visual acuity. I've recently used that when I was diagnosed with cataracts and I was going to have cataract surgery and all, and I thought, if I can have 44 times visual acuity, why can't I fix this part of my eyes? When I went in for the pre-examination set up for the surgery, my eyes were 100% cured, and they have stayed that way. Those are little things that we can do because of what we're capable of, that instead we're being just manipulated by, and that kind of information is being kept from us, because 44 times visual acuity is a very important factor for the government to be able to pluck children like myself and put them into military intelligence or military special forces, because they can shoot and not miss a target. Their vision is so precise. Additionally, when a child is abused and they begin developing these compartments in the brain, as more and more compartments develop on the subconscious level and the conscious mind is being pushed out of the way, where there's no capacity for question, reason, conscious awareness, and conscious thought. Because when you're operating in these different compartments, for example, the one that developed because of my father's sexual abuse. When my father would come in and to sexually abuse me, the same part of my brain that was familiar with that would open up so that he would do it again and again as needed, and yet it would still remain compartmentalized in this section. Our brains are phenomenal. So that the rest of my mind could function normally. Well, that part of my brain would open up for my father's sexual abuse. Then my father began prostituting me. My mother's father had a Blue Masonic Lodge. He ran a Blue Masonic Lodge in, up in Michigan, and it was where the politicians were just real, local politicians were just real active. And my father began prostituting me out to different ones who were aware of the child abuse because of the knowledge coming through on CIA mind control and being so much a part of a criminal faction of our government that's also referred to as the shadow government, that was slowly gaining control and finally gained control with the Kennedy assassination. They'd already got a pretty good control, but they really took a major control over the population because, like I was telling you, when trauma occurs, then the brain has a way of kicking in to deal with trauma. And most people who are old enough to know exactly where they were and what they were doing at the time that John F. Kennedy was assassinated. It traumatized the nation. It traumatized the nation to see it on TV over and over and over again. That trauma left people suggestible, left that subconscious open to where they were highly suggestible and easily led. And that was the beginning. Consider what I'm saying with the effects of what happened 9/11 or 9/11 as it's referred. And I refer to it as 911 because that's the emergency number. And they like to do those kind of number games anyway. It was also Flight 11 at 9. So they were playing that with the numbers, but nevertheless, on 9/11, the whole nation was traumatized. And in that trauma, people became suggestible. And how many people ran out and bought a flag, you know, because that was what we were told to do. And the compliance of the people at that time was so strong, and it gave the shadow government a firm control over all of us that is just finally now shaking. It's finally starting to stop because people are waking up, and they're waking up en masse. And it's happening all over this country. Mark and I travel outside this country, and we're thrilled to see how much more wide awake and aware the rest of the world is at this point, where they have a compassion for people in the United States, knowing that we are not our government. We are not that shadow government that's taken over, that the people here are rising up, they're gaining voice, and they're standing strong by issues of 9/11 and taking action in their own communities. Mark and I have been speaking out on mind control for over 20 years now. That's a long time to be speaking out on the subject. We've seen a vast difference between when we first started speaking and now. People are waking up, and it's awareness that is that we've got to have. We've got to keep this awareness going, because knowledge is our only defense against mind control. The compartmentalization of memory that I was talking about, where when my father began prostituting me to these political people as well, developed more compartments in my brain. It was like, oh, well, where do I turn? You know, I can't even turn to our local law enforcement. I can't turn to politicians. And, you know, I really felt that there was nowhere to go, and my brain automatically began compartmentalizing. Further, when my father began doing child pornography of me and sold it through the local Michigan Mafia child pornography ring, that criminal faction of the government, that shadow government that was monitoring such things as those child pornography rings — we didn't have internet back then — the child pornography rings, to target children like myself for MK Ultra mind control. And of course, I'd mentioned that Blue Masonic Lodge, and one of the members there was a local politician named Gerald Ford. Of course, this is the same Gerald Ford that went into the office of president, and was very much a part of how I ended up being used on a White House Pentagon level during the Reagan-Bush administration. But he was interested this criminal faction was interested in children like myself, because when you have so many of those compartments, there's no continuity of thought anymore. If you operate in this compartment and have no memory of it, operate in this compartment and have no memory of it, there's no way to have any continuity of thought bridging, and there's no ability to have any continuity of time. You don't have a concept of time at all. I didn't know. I began to lose my whole perspective on time, how long anything was. This is something that they were also interested in. They know it's a phenomena of the brain, because when a person doesn't know how long they've been doing something, the physical endurance is tremendous. You don't get tired if you don't know you're supposed to be tired. So it creates a physical endurance that's really good for military special forces, military intelligence, or the kind of political prostitution that I was eventually used in the course of the kind of missions that I was forced to carry out in later years. So this local politician, who was just one more pedophile to me, came to the house and told my father that he could receive immunity from prosecution if he would agree to sell me into the CIA's mind control project. My father agreed to it, was actually pretty thrilled about it, thinking, wow, you know, the government condones child abuse, this is wonderful. He excitedly agreed to it, had 5 more children afterwards just to raise in the project. So there were 7 of us children in the family in all. But as soon as my father agreed, he was flown to Boston, Massachusetts for a course on how to manipulate the subconscious mind. Since it was my subconscious mind that was open, he was taught how to do it in speaking in literals, where a person would take things very literally. He also was instructed that he would have to take me to certain places at certain times so that I would be in the right place for whatever the CIA's mind control operations were conditioning me for, and eventually the ones that I would be working in. Boston, Massachusetts is a real key epicenter place to mention because, as I'm sure all of you have heard, that's where the Catholic child abuse scandal was right there out of Boston, Massachusetts. Look at the vast numbers that you have heard about that have been sexually abused within a Catholic church. It wasn't homosexuality. They made a really huge effort to make it look like homosexuality when in fact it's pedophilia. They just love to put those kind of emotional diversions out there to try to divide the people instead of get right to the truth, because truth unites us. It's all those lies and false attitudes that end up dividing us and creating problems. So I was raised in the Catholic Church. I had been all along. Our church in Muskegon, Michigan was actively involved with the CIA on mind control. I certainly wasn't the only one. As a matter of fact, I thought it was the way life was, because everybody I knew, there was some horrible abuse going on. It's like it was a way of life in Muskegon, Michigan. It has since been termed the pedophile capital of the United States. That came out in the Muskegon Chronicle, and it's a widely known fact. Muskegon, Michigan is a horrible place to have come from, but it really gave me the idea that that's the way the whole world was, when in fact obviously it's not. But neither are all Catholics bad. You know, I've certainly learned since then that there are Catholics who are very determined to bring that criminal activity out of the church and bring it back to whatever it's supposed to be. When you consider the Crusades and the Spanish Inquisition, man, it's quite a history of it they've got to undo there. But nevertheless, there are some people that are aware and are making a difference. But for me, it only added more compartments to my brain, because then I was subjected to occult ritual. Occultism is a horrible blood trauma that certainly created more compartments in my mind. The Catholic aspect was just one more horrible thing to know. Well, you know, you can't even turn to a church for help. And it's been all these years before finally even the child abuse began to shake the very foundations of the church. And yet they were still, you know, diverting things. I mean, whoever heard my name with that Catholic child abuse scandal? I mean, I certainly wasn't able to be part of any lawsuits, even though the ones that were prosecuting it referred to our book, Access Denied, for reasons of national security, because of the pertinent information in there on not only why that kind of child abuse was going on, but how to heal from it, because there's a lot of people that need help, and to be able to heal from varying levels of child abuse, of sexual abuse, varying levels of the suggestibility and ultimately mind control that is resultant from those traumas. My father was also told to take me to the governor's mansion in Michigan, which was located in Mackinac, Island, and the governor at the time was George Romney. Of course, Mitt Romney is his son, and that's very important to know. We need to pay attention to our politics because it's not about naming a certain name so that you know who these people are, because it's just going to replace them with somebody else. And now we've got generations. George Romney was the one who was part of my victimization. He's the one who was actively involved in merging Catholic information with the CIA information on mind control in order to bring it into a more powerful form of mind control, which combined with technology, which we have today, combined with technology, was the most powerful form of mind control that was being brought into the Mormon Church. And the Mormon Church was something I was exposed to later on, and it is a very powerful form of mind control. That one needs to clean up their mess next. But pay attention to these so-called politicians we're getting paraded in front of us as something new and something different, because in fact, that's just not the way it is. I met my owner, who had become my owner in the CIA's mind control project, U.S. Senator Robert C. Byrd. Senator Byrd has been in office as long as I've been alive. I can't believe he's still in office today. He's been head of Senate Appropriations. As head of Senate Appropriations, he decides where money is going to be spent and how. As my owner, Senator Byrd directed my activities during the Reagan-Bush administration when I worked on a White House Pentagon level. Senator Byrd is funding the mind control mechanism in our school systems. He has funded the so-called, he was the one who introduced the so-called Clean Air and Water Act, which in fact I watched all those years where he just lined his pockets with buy-offs so people could pollute and destroy the environment and destroy our planet even more. We need to pay closer attention to what these politicians are doing, especially when they've been in there so many years that they know how to play the game. This is the shadow government that's been manipulating us all. Going back on Gerald Ford, as Gerald Ford went, as his political career escalated into the office of the presidency, notice who was in his cabinet. I certainly did. I was exposed to him from the mid-70s throughout my whole victimization. He had Dick Cheney as his Secretary of State, Donald Rumsfeld as his Secretary of Defense, George Bush Sr. as head of the CIA. I knew Dick Cheney from the mid-70s when I was first taken up to Wyoming to where his hunting ranch is, where he embarked on his most favorite game called the most dangerous game of human hunting, where a person is hunted. I had no clue whether or not I was going to live. How would I know that? And I was subjected to horrible, brutal tortures by Dick Cheney repeatedly throughout my victimization. And now he's acting like, oh, we just started torture after 9/11. Who believes that? Come on, this has been going on forever. That was his excuse to just traumatize a nation and allow for further control over the people. There's a whole lot more torture that's going on than waterboarding. And there's a whole lot more even to waterboarding than what we see on TV. My daughter Kelly has even drawn pictures, graphic detail of waterboarding. Once Mark rescued Kelly and I out of the horrible experiences that we endured. She was taken into the custody of the state of Tennessee. where she was abused further by the so-called mental health system, while national security was put all over her case, and her records are still sealed for so-called reasons of national security. Were they not sealed, you would see her graphic pictures of waterboarding. I wonder if those are the kind of records Dick Cheney wants out there, to see what my daughter endured. My daughter is still suffering the effects of the tortures that she endured. She's waiting on good people like yourselves to wake up and make a positive difference. In the meantime, she and I made every difference that we possibly could in the state of Tennessee. We plowed through them all, letting them know what mind control was. And we had over 1 million letters pouring in to the governor of the state of Tennessee from people all over the world saying, what does national security have to do with a documented rape and molestation of a child? That was a wonderful thing to do. It made a big difference. It made a big difference in the state of Tennessee. It made a big difference within the system. It raised awareness, and it started making that difference. We sure didn't get it from the top on down, because they're still covering it up. They're still covering up the tortures, are still covering up mind control, and it's got to stop. The truth needs to come out, and it needs to be brought to light for Kelly's sake and for everyone's sake. We all need to know the magnitude of what's really going on in our world. Because Dick Cheney, George Bush Sr., not George Bush Jr., he was absolutely under mind control in the same projects I was, and he was even in the most dangerous going. That's why he comes off so dense. He's really not the one. We need to go behind the scenes, because the CIA has been running it behind the scene, or the shadow government has been running behind the scenes for too many decades now. And now that awareness is rising, and people are waking up to the point where they even have to say torture on TV, where it's finally coming out, there is that hope that maybe people will begin to research further and look into what's really happening, because that torture issue is like a little hole in the dike of what's really behind all of it, and that truth needs to start pouring forth. We need to get it out. I'm so fortunate to have survived it. I have so many stories that I could share with you about the different operations that I was used in, the horrible tortures that I saw that go far beyond waterboarding. Those are in graphic detail in our book, Transformation of America. Trans was written when national security was slapped on our case, and it was written so that that information would be out there. It's comprehensive detail, but it's very graphic detail. And for someone who's been victimized, they don't need to know that. They need to know their own truth before they know someone else's. They need to find that truth. And Access Denied was written for them. It was written for the population that's been traumatized by 9/11. It's for a population that's been traumatized by watching these criminals in control of our government making us look like something we're not to the rest of the world. It's these people who've been traumatized by everyday life, by what's happening in their own lives with the economy. It's for people who are horrified by the abuse that they're seeing going on around them. It's for every one of us, because this is a rough planet. And it will teach you what I learned. It will teach you the truth that I found. Once I healed from my mind control victimization, and once I remembered all the details of all those government operations that I was tortured to forget. Now, they weren't extracting information. I said tortured to forget. Dick Cheney knows, and I know he knows it because he's done it to me. Dick Cheney knows that torture is to make people forget and to program them with anything that's put into their subconscious mind at that time. And those were the kind of operations that I was forced to do. You certainly can't extract information that way. There's a whole lot of other technologies out there. There's a whole lot of other methods out there that do work that are very simple. They don't need to torture. There's no excuse for torture other than to traumatize people, traumatize a nation, and to control a mind. It's got to stop. Dick Cheney has got to be stopped. It's up to all of us to be able to make that difference. Bringing Dick Cheney down is not going to stop the shadow government. Bringing Dick Cheney down is not going to stop torture. It's not going to stop the shadow government. It's not going to make the changes that we need in this world. It's not enough. It's already too big. They've been at this too long. Instead, it's up to each and every one of us to make that change within. When I woke up from mind control, and I realized that there's good people in this world, I had hope again. When I woke up from mind control, I woke up to realize that there was a form of mind control that blanketed society where people were really dumbed down. It was like I came running out of hell saying, there's mind control, you know, and help my daughter, help me, and yet nobody knew what it was. It was like I was screaming about a hell and nobody could even see it. It's like, how can this be? And I realized that people had been dumbed down and they'd been conditioned. And that what I had seen that could be done technologically was actually being implemented. What I knew when I worked under Bill Bennett, Ronald Reagan's education secretary during the 80s, that they were bringing the mind control into the school system in order to increase the children's learning capacity while decreasing their ability to critically analyze. That's what's been eroding at our society for so long now. And I woke up to that and went, wow, I got to share this information. This is important that people understand exactly how our brains really work. They know how our brains work, and they're manipulating us by that knowledge. Knowledge is our only defense against mind control. We need to take that knowledge. I could talk for hours, and there's still more for you to research, and I encourage each and every one of you to please do it. I encourage each and every one of you to share the information with those that you love and people that you meet, and start sharing information in Access Denied. Access Denied is helping people heal from all levels of mind control from all over the world. It was written out of demand and a need from people who were reaching out for help because they knew that Mark and I understood. And so we finally wrote sufficient enough that anyone can take it and transpose that information to their own need and heal from any level of abuse or control. People in military special forces are using it. People all over the world are using that information, and they're healing. And with that healing is coming more and more awareness. And as that awareness is rising, the word is spreading. And people are beginning to have grassroots activism. There's people standing strong in this room who have stood by what really happened on 9/11. And thank you for doing it. Keep doing that. We all have to stand strong by what we know. Keep those grassroots growing. Everyone, please take the information and spread the word, because knowledge is our only defense against mind control, and this is the truth that makes us free. Thank you.
Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks to Roseanne Barr. We deeply appreciate each and every.
Thought I was true, but there's a new dawn, hope anew, light at the end, life's worth living. Hold on, my friends, keep on giving. Feels like a circle, round and trust in the morning.